Saluto, welcome for channel. Who checked the checker? We don't notice a two major general don't enter Buea in the space of 2 weeks. And at the same time, plenty people then don't holla, drop plots where they go for different quarter there. Small support, Moliko, checkpoint, all that kind of endem, yeah. And so all this cannot just be happening like that. We must start asking ourselves. But what's happening around then without talking about the ramification of born again churches left and right. We don't hear say minister don't decide for close 1,500 churches. And that's on the for Yaoundé divisional officer, and they go around the close. We'll see some video where it shows some pastor when I chief he try for the divisional officer and it turned in a different problem. Only hala with divisional officer hala you. I hope so when they go race yeah, cry go the all sides. But now let's come back. So our checkers and who check them. My dear compatriots, this week the brass came to Buea. Major General Sali Mahamadou, Chief of Staff of the Land Forces, Brigadier General Ngumba, Commander of the Second Gendarmerie Region, and separately Brigadier General Ekongwesse Divine, Commander of the Second Gendarmerie Region. Uniform, guards of honor, closed door session, a courtesy call on the governor. All of it says the state is watching the southwest. But here is the question we ask tonight, and it is only a small one. Who watches the state? Because in the same week, these commanders inspected their units. Legal experts were raising an uncomfortable allegation that some of the very officers meant to fight drug trafficking may be protecting its instead. So we are on Cameroon Wahala. I am Cyrille the mayor, and this case is on the checkers. What is observed? Two stories, same month, almost close to each other weeks, same region. The military calendar on July 14, 2026, Major General Sali Mahamadou told Buea, met head of operational unit across the southwest, reviewed the guards of honor at the 21st Motorized Infantry Brigade under Colonel Manuel Enyi Meka, chair a closed door session, then pay a courtesy visit to Governor Bernard Okala Bilal. It's just been some week ago that this General Sali Mahamadou was promoted to the highest rank in the military by the military delegate in Douala. And so back to Buea. Around last week or so, Brigadier General Ekongwesse Divine of the Second Gendarmerie Region was also present in the south. What this kind of visit normally signals? Chief of Staff visits like this are routine command oversight, inspecting readiness, reinforcing the claim of command, reassuring a region still carrying the weight of the Anglophone crisis, and now a fragile electoral season. Nothing sinister in the visit itself. And the head of state, President Paul Biya, has now clocked over 36 days out of the country. Soon there will be breaking news all over as he comes closer to 45 or 49 according to different sources. Now that the constitution was amended, making his term of office a little bit slippery for the Senate or the Constitutional Council to declare vacancy at the helm of the state. He put to that place a vice president who is yet to be appointed. And it is the march rush within the government cycle to know who will be the perfect square to fit this prestigious post. The parallel concern, the layer that goes against what legal experts have been saying, that the fight against illicit drugs in the southwest may fail, not for lack of community effort, but because allegations of law enforcement officers collaborating with drugs dealers have not been thoroughly investigated. And so these allegations raised by legal experts, not proven findings, No specific officers or unit has been named in the reporting we have, and so we cannot personally confirm this line of story. All we see is that the persistence of this drug consumption coupled with scamming prostitution are just likely to be encouraged by some practices that that light is yet to be shed on. Why both stories belong in the same episode? A region can have all the guards of honor, all the closed door briefing, all the courtesy visit to the governor it wants, and still have a trust problem. If the population has no confidence that misconduct within the rank get investigated, ceremony is not oversight. How governance gap get exploited? The first aspect is the anatomy of governance flaw. Drug trafficking network don't succeed by being stronger than the state. They succeed by finding the gap the state leave open, a checkpoint that isn't checked, a beach that isn't patrolled, an officer whose conduct is never reviewed. Every clandestine beach closure we have covered on the channel, every trafficking corridor the governor has named, exists because a gap was left long enough to become a route. Another aspect is when legitimacy gets borrowed. It isn't only security gap that gets exploited. Criminal network anywhere in the world, not uniquely here, often seek cover under institutions the public already trusts by default. A religious title, a community elder, a moral authority that discourages questioning. When dogma is used to shut down scrutiny, don't question this man. He is a man of God. He is untouchable. That is in itself governance flaw, just wearing different clothes. We are not naming any institution or individual tonight. We are naming the party, legitimacy borrowed to avoid accountability. Whether that legitimacy comes from a uniform, a puppet, or a party cat. Why oversight cannot only be top down. A chief of staff inspecting his own brigade is oversight within the chain of command. It is necessary, but it is not sufficient. The officer accused of collaborating with a trafficker is unlikely to report himself to his own commander. That is precisely why independent, external, and citizen-facing accountability mechanisms matter. An inspector cannot be the only judge of his own institution. And so there should be more collaboration between the army and the population. Corruption is the cankerworm that mostly fits black roads, and it cannot possibly be overcome if the population is left behind. Town hall meetings should be called, sensitization campaign should actually include both men in uniform and the population. What real accountability require here? If we are serious, not performing seriousness, but being really serious about drug trafficking allegations touching law enforcement, four things need to happen, and the citizens should be watching for all the four. One, an independent investigative body, not an internal one, to examine the specific collaboration allegation legal experts have raised, with findings that are published, not filed away. Whistleblower protection for any officer, port worker, or community member who report collusion without protection. No one comes forward, and the allegations stay permanently unresolved. Public reporting on the beach and the port enforcement outcome, not just visits and declaration, but arrest numbers, execution, and what happened to seize goods. A clear boundary between ceremonial state visibility and functional accountability. A guard of honor is not evidence of clean governance, and it should never be allowed to substitute for it in the public's mind. This is the same discipline we ask of FACO's infrastructure promised last episode. Ceremony without verification, whether it is a ribbon cutting or a guard of honor, deserve the same healthy skepticism. The message: leadership must be checked always by the people. So, Mezzanine, here is the heart of tonight's episode. A county does not become safe because its general inspect their brigade. It becomes safe when its people can question any authority, military, religion, political, without being told the question itself is disrespectful. Drug lords do not thrive because they are powerful. They thrive because someone with power decided a gap was worth more open than close. Closing that gap is not the job of a single governor or a single chief of staff visit. It is the job of a population that refuses to let ceremony replace scrutiny. So when you see the uniform, the guards of honor, the courtesy visit, welcome them. They are part of a functional state, but do not let them be the last words. Ask what was actually decided behind the closed doors. Ask what happened to the officers named in the allegations. Ask who investigates the investigators. Leadership on check in a barrack, in a battle, or in a bureau becomes leadership unaccountable. And unaccountable leadership is exactly the soil drug network are planted in. The MRC is working for the rule of law and a state where laws are checked. It's where the state check its own uniform and its own pulpit with the same seriousness it checks its opposition. Information here are shared without filter. It was Mayor Cyrille. I'll be yours again. Until we meet, please subscribe, follow the platform, comment so that I should be able to know from where you are commenting and what is actually an issue on your own table. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.